I'm going to let Ms. Bridges kind of do her thing. And I'm going to ask this first question. You were interviewed by Sherry. You made a statement to her, and I want you to talk about this because I think it talks about your career. And you said that you paint to please myself. What do you
Yes, I
mean by
did.
that?
I think because I could, when I see something, I'll feel something, I know about it. I paint it, trying to let someone else see how wonderful it is. Now, I did, around Philadelphia, the waterworks and so forth, I did quite a few paintings around there. In fact, I painted all the time, and still painting. I just want, could you put back a little close to the mouth? I just want, can you hear me now better?
Yeah.
You to know that I taught in high school, and it was amazing how many young people had never been to the Philadelphia Museum of Art. I was surprised. In fact, when they first started in my class, I would give them a note to have the parents sign that I would be able to take them. And it wasn't a school bus, we would go on the public transportation. And I used to take classes to the art museum, also to places where they manufactured some of the art that was done by the artists there. So many people do not know what's going on when they look at a painting and where it came from and how. And in Philadelphia, there are many places where you can get a job as an artist, but you have to know where to go. They have posters, they have all kinds of things, but it's good as an artist to be able to see art in every form of art, music, writing, everything. And because it helps you to think. One thing I noticed that when I paint, and I found the same thing with Paul Robeson. Paul Robeson he was a very talented man. His father was not a slave, and he wasn't either. But he went to Rutgers, and then he went to Columbia and studied law. He graduated, worked as a lawyer, but he quit because they were so prejudiced. They wouldn't even. It was unfortunate that the United States lost so many of their people, great people, because they had that prejudice feeling. I don't know why. What was it? What did they gain from it? Nothing. Well, some people here did get rich from it. I will say that. You can take Paul Whitman, the musicians. They got when Paul Robeson was in Russia. He heard the brass music and the stiffness in the music and no feeling and nothing, which he did not. It didn't inspire him, and because he had certain feelings himself. But when he started to, after he left the law, he went into acting and the theater. He had a wonderful voice, and he was great when he came to acting. And as a result of it, he would talk about America, how prejudiced and how hard it was to live there. But he talked about it so much until the United States became upset and canceled his passport for 8 years. In fact, he was almost lost who he was because he wasn't doing anything and they didn't know it. But when he did start out in Russia, he was doing Othello. They gave him the passport back in 8 years because he had become almost unknown at the time. But when he did get it, he went back to Russia. And there, they didn't have all of these hindering feelings about who he was or what color, because that had nothing to do with what he had to offer. He was a man that had a wonderful voice, and he was a great actor. So when he did Othello, it lasted for over 100 years. This was after he got his passport back after 8 years. And that's when he got his passport back, he went back to Russia. And what he did, he changed the music here. And have you heard jazz? I know everybody, most of you have heard jazz music.
I want to want to interrupt you for 1 second because I want to ask you about your approach to art because you talk about Paul Robeson and we know what he represents. You talk about the music, and what I'm gathering from that is that you're talking about emotions and the importance of emotions. So when you paint,
Yes, that's something that, and I could see what he was doing because I felt, and I always did this whenever I painted the way I felt about what I was looking at. And and that was, and including scenery, because I did a lot of the waterworks near the art museum. But the thing that I tried to do in people was to give you certain personalities. I have a painting that's right near the door. And this painting up near the door is called The Blues. And the result of the blues, you see the woman sitting there. If you get close to it, you'll see what I mean. You are to let people know. And my son Jonathan, John, bring the painting up so I can show it to the people.
the one on the easel,
The blues.
I say the blues. I got it, yes, that one.
And I felt that whenever I looked at people, I would get a certain feeling about it. And as a result of it, I was trying to show you, instead of talking about blues, you could paint blues. And I did want to sitting there, and you could see that she has the expression on her face and the way she's sitting there, and the tree that's there in the background. You can, and this is something that, regardless, you don't just paint something for the size of it, you paint for what you feel. And this is something that I saw in Paul Robeson. Paul Robeson had the people coming there, they came to see a fellow over 100 times. And the reason why is because he was able to, people could see what was going on with Othello, and they felt it, and they enjoyed seeing it. This was something that was, all the musicians here in the United States, jazz and music, it came from the same feeling that Paul Robeson had. And as a result of it, he developed jazz and rhythm and so forth. And people changed from that brass band and so forth, and they started listening to the music. And the music was the kind that would excite you, they could feel it. And it became so popular until a lot of musicians in the past that hadn't been doing anything got rich.
Miss Bridges, do you paint with music? Is music on when you're painting?
No, I paint from feeling. If I would see something and I felt that, I would paint that from feeling, because I was trying to give to the person what I could see that was beautiful. And I think that, and as a result of it, jazz music came here to the United States. Before, when people were trying to dance, they didn't have any rhythm. Everything was a brass band, and I'm 98. And when you look at it, they didn't have any rhythm. What kind of dancing is that? And I, later on, as they developed rhythm, and they developed feelings, and you just don't go look at things, you feel something comes to you. And most people here have felt something when they've seen things. And they want to see that at all times. And also, you have to look and find what expressions to express, because these are the things that come to your mind.
You've been painting for how long?
Since I was 5 or 6 years old. It started when I was little.
Do you still paint?
Oh, yes.
When was the last time you
And when
painted?
I was little, we used to be in the backyard, we had a yard set where I lived. all the kids in the neighborhood, we would get together, and we'd have paints in jars, red, yellow, and blue. We mixed it. We learned how to get green, the yellow, blue, and green, and how to get color. And we would have a ball painting whatever we felt like. And all while I was in elementary school, I said, do all the hallways for every holiday. And I went to college. I got it from high school. And as a result of it, I went to Philadelphia College of Art first, and then on to the Temple University Academy of Fine Arts. And when I finished there, I started teaching at high school. And as a teacher, I said, none of these children have ever been to an art museum. I haven't even seen any art. I said, this is terrible. So I got permission slips, and I had to take them home. The parents would sign that I could take them out anytime to go to a museum. And I would take the whole class. They'd have to pay their own car fare. And we would go to the art museum and look at the paintings, which was very good for them, because you got to know something about what you're looking for, and also how to feel things, and I would explain things to them. And in fact, I used to enjoy that so much. For 10 years, for free, I used to take people through the art museum, and I would take them to see the silver, the china, everything, all through the museum, and explain abstract art and how it came about, how what was working, what they were working forward towards. And if you understood, then you knew exactly what you wanted to do.
Do you have a favorite medium that you like to paint in?
Well, I paint in acrylics and oil, and I do some. I paint. I sometimes add paper to the paint, but you can't tell it. And Paul Robeson did a lot for America. When they discovered, because when you go see the New Year's Day parade, you can see the brass bands and the one with the rhythm. One with the rhythm, the crowd is clapping and everything. And you have to have, people have feelings. People like to enjoy themselves, and they want to know what they're looking at and understand, because it makes it very nice if you see something that you remember and that was close to you. And as a result of it, Paul Robeson, he brought jazz to America. They had people who were playing certain musical instruments, and they started playing a different way, and they start putting in rhythm and jazz and everything. Paul Whitman's band became famous. He made a lot of money from Paul Robeson. There are others, but I know.
Mrs. Bridges, let me ask you a question. You got one of your students here, James
Barton.
No, James Brantley.
James Brantley, yes.
And Barton Haynes was also.
Barton Haynes was also.
So how was James as a student?
He was a serious student.
Was he stubborn?
No, he painted his own way. And I never tried to tell him how to paint. It's their own mind, not my mind. Because that's how you think. You got to think for yourself. And this is the thing that is so important to a student, because they will work longer and they work harder. And I felt that this is something you have to want to do. America, Paul Whitman became famous because of Paul Robeson. There were many of the musicians that play today have gained a lot from that kind of attitude. And the thing is that people don't buy enough paintings. We were in America.
What do you mean by that? You don't buy enough paintings?
Well, I was in Florida. I said I would go to see an art show. And it was really plenty of paintings. Well, I wasn't too impressed with the painting. And what happened is, people coming out with 2 paintings on each arm. Those paintings cost over $1,000 a piece. I said, gee, you must be rich. But I couldn't imagine how you could buy something that you can't see something in. You want to live with. And there are many paintings that people, when you go to see a show, see how that painting impressed you, because that's important. And you don't mind living with it.
Are you suggesting that we need to consider buying more paintings?
Oh, yes,
Why?
because I see the person buy a painting and pay something like $45. And that painting, they sold it at an auction for 43,000. Well, they were very happy to have that kind of money for that painting that they paid nothing for. That's why you can't tell. You don't know what you have under your arms when you buy a painting. And it's important because what do you lose? You buy whatever you want. So if you like the painting, it's something to see for you to be taken. And you never know when you will be able to sell it if you want to. You might not never want to sell it. But by Paul Robeson and Othello coming out with what he was singing a song and singing his feeling and expressing himself the way he did, he just captured his audience. They all felt for it. And they could feel it. They wanted to go back there and they would tell me, I think he did that play over 200 times because it was so popular. And by the way he could sing and with the type of voice he had, music became wonderful here in America. They began to bring jazz here. And when I was little, you go to the dance, you didn't even know what rhythm was all about. I said, well, gee, I can't dance like that. And you would be, and then finally you found out that rhythm was part of music. And you would dance and love it. But it was something that people had to grow. And the big bands and things that you see that makes all of the big one well-known bands, that's where they became famous by what Paul Robeson did. And they realized it right away.
This has been out in the country. What keeps you inspired? I mean, you say you still paint.
Oh, it keeps me when I see something I want to paint. And I know when I see it. And I just wait till I feel it and then I paint it. But I get up. I always have a sketchbook, Barry. I'm always sketching. But I'm not sketching today. But I always sketch with it. And it's just because it's something that I might see that I like.
So what do you think about the art world today? I mean, if somebody asked you, this is great, what do you think going forward? How are artists going to be viewed?
Well, I think people are becoming a little bit more aware of art than they did in the past. They don't even, and it's something that should be taught to children. They teach music in schools. And I don't know why they don't teach art. They teach music, you go to school, you learn all about music, you take a music class and learn the notes and so forth. Well, they should teach also art. Because they're losing it. In America, there are many bands here in America that have become very famous because of Paul Robeson. And also, when you go see a New Year's parade, you can tell the difference. Some of them inspire you, and there are others that don't inspire you at all. You just look at them and say, ooh. You can tell. You have feelings, you have emotions, and you have what you like. So I think that you need to go and see.
Do you think artists that they have a role today in the world?
Why, yes, if God gave it to you, you should try to let somebody else enjoy it. And
Very good answer.
you don't know what you might bring to your country and to the people of the world, or even help your country to see what they're not seeing. And they even changed the notes in the music because they were not the same kind of rhythm. The notes that were being played. And the musicians soon discovered it. And they called it honky tonk, some kind of music in the whole time. But I'll tell you something that really, I know it was inspired by the Africans, because when I was little, I was in South Carolina, I went to church there. They were so busy shaking and saying things I didn't understand. But they had a lot of rhythm. A lot of rhythm. And this is something that was brought here to this country. They picked it up. And big bands became famous with what was offered to them. And it's something, never down what you have. Never. Keep it. Look for it. See where you see it. And enjoy it. That's all I have to say. Oh, one thing I'd like to add, I talk about my granddaughter. One is here, and she's a writer. But I have another granddaughter who is an architect. I mean, the exam she had to take, it took 5 days. Not too many passed it, but she passed it. And she's looking at all these articles. She can't draw. She knew what she was looking for. And as a result of it, she is now teaching in the colleges out in San Francisco, and she's doing artwork, designing homes. She works for a big firm, and she's doing very well. So don't discourage a young person. You see what they're doing, and you see them spending time with it. Try to encourage them in something that you know is good for them.
So James, you were in her class.
Yes, he was in the class.
1963.
So tell us, how was she as a teacher?
She was the best. She encouraged not only myself, but another artist by the name of Barkley Hendricks.
You're not here to get the grades today.
No. I have a certain kinship with Miss Bridges. And she organized our collection of art, Barkley and myself. We had to, as high school students now, we're 17 years old, we had to put together 40 examples of our work, each one of us. Put it in a portfolio, and then present it to the Pennsylvania Academy for acceptance in their art program. So we both got in, of course, but it wouldn't have been possible without this lady here. We stand on the shoulders of a lot of people that came before us, and we share a lot of things that people are standing on ours. And I like to say that we're holding hands across not only this continent, but the ocean and the continent of Africa and around the world. I've traveled in the entire globe, and Philadelphia is my home, and nowhere else in the world do I feel more comfortable. I've been to Brazil and Cuba, and it's nice, but it's nothing like home. I work every day. I paint with both hands and both feet. I'm in it 5 by 5. I'm in it 100%. So it's important that an artist establish their voice. That's what we all have, is a voice and how to express ourselves. Each one is unique, like snowflakes. There's no two that are alike. There are only 2 things important in an artist's life, and that's collections and documentation. Without those 2, the money comes and goes. I taught art. I worked at the Youth Study Center for over 20 years. And those young ladies and those young people at the Juvenile Detention Center, it used to be where the Barnes Foundation was. It was at the 20th and Parkway. And they're outside of physically and mentally challenged black teenagers in this country are the most at risk. And nobody cares. It's babies having babies. They're raising themselves on the streets. And they challenge not only themselves, but us to do something about it. We have to share our experiences as many times as we can. So I'm retired now, so I'm working 100% in my studio. My wife, for 40 years, died. Her name was Sandy Webster. And she ran a gallery in Philadelphia, in Center City. Adrian, yeah. And so there's a long history of what's going on. And one of the artists that I can't, his name was Andrew Kern. He's from Chester. And he was about 6'8". So he's very impressive. So when you see him, another great artist in the city of Philadelphia, not far from here, his name is Charles Burwell. He's an abstract painter. His works are in a lot of the major museums in this country. Oh, by the way, Barclay Hendricks paintings, if you want to buy one, you better hurry up. I think it top ends around $40 million for a painting. He did one of me it's on the cover of a catalog hardback, and it's at the Pennsylvania Academy, and it's 1776 to 1970. They covered the artist in that period. And my painting is in the book. Barclay's painting. Can you hear me now? I could probably speak louder without the mic, but I don't want to be intrusive. But anyway, that catalog is at the Pennsylvania Academy now. My portrait is on the cover of that catalog. Barclay painted with me, and I had a big afro. I just recently came back from Vietnam in 1968, and he painted me in his studio. And that painting is on the cover. The painting I did, Andrew Wyatt voted it to be the best in the show. And I went out to his house and transported an incredible individual, Andrew Wyatt. We had lunch together and we talked. This is an incredible experience. And it's just amazing. It's a blessing. I started work when I was 7 years old. I started painting. And my father, who I ran away from home when I was 7 years old, he used to paint or draw Charles Atlas on these comic books. He would draw these strongmen and bodybuilders. And I was impressed with that because he took a two-dimensional plane and made it three-dimensional. You know, he created depth of field and volume and perspective. And from then on, it was a done deal. I knew what I was going to do for the rest of my life.
And then you met Mrs. Bridges.
Met Miss Bridges in the 1960s.
And she took you where you are today, right?
Yeah, she took us down to the academy, and we looked at that work, and we went like, yeah, this would be a great place to, continue our education at. And from there, we springboarded into all kinds of things. But I've had experiences with museums at 7 years old. We used to go to the Philadelphia Museum.
Let me ask you this question. I don't mean to cut you off.
That's all right.
Do you think your encounter with Miss Bridges at Simon Grass High School
wouldn't be here?
Would you be here?
Would not be here. Would not be here. And it takes that in an artist's life to have a hero like her.
You want to comment about that, Mr. Bridges?
Well,
Thank you.
all I can say is that when they're young and they don't know anything about what they have, I just have to encourage them and take them as children so that they can understand. Because when you mention art, you don't think of making any money, but you never know. So if you see something you like, buy it. But you don't know what you bought.
Anybody else have any questions? Oh.
Hi. So you talked about the importance of encouraging young people with their art, and I'm just curious if you ever felt discouraged, and or if you felt like people didn't understand your art, and if so, how you persevered through that.
I was always encouraged. I had from elementary school teachers. I had some very excellent teachers. They would encourage you, and I guess I was, because they'd say, oh, that little one with the smile. I was smiling all the time. And I was only too happy to decorate the hallways and do things for them. But I enjoyed my school, the time I was in school. I had very good teachers. that were very nice and very encouraging. And my parents never discouraged me from anything like that. The only thing I was discouraged is when I finished school, I was going to get me a job. I went out to Linton's, and we don't have it here anymore. They told me, well, you cannot be anything but clean the dishes. Well, I cleaned it for a while, but I quit. And the thing is that never discourage yourself. If you like something, keep working at it. You'll succeed. You don't know where you will go. And this country, our music that we are playing today, really came from Paul Robeson. Because the jazz music and the dances and the things that you see people, black people never made any money doing anything else like that. But they made it when it came to the different clubs and things, because the women would dress up and dance, and then they would play the music that they would swing and carry on. And this is how they made a good living. So, and then the big bands, they changed some of the instruments and made them so that they could sound good with playing the jazz. So you never know just where you're going to go. So if you like something, do it.
I'm going to be a bit critical for a second. You talk about jazz awful lot today. Awful lot. And I looked at, and I've been to your home, and I've seen your work, and I can count, I'm sitting here trying to count in my head the number of pieces that have a music theme to them. And wait a minute, let me finish. I've only seen, I'm sorry about that. I've only seen 3 or 4. And you got many paintings in your home. So what's this about this?
Well,
this jazz
I don't write jazz on the painting. I write, I'm inspired. I'm talking about how I'm inspired. And if you see a painting that inspires you to feel a certain way, then I have done what I've been trying to do.
That's what I was getting at.
Yes.
I knew there was a connection between the music of jazz and this painting and the painting behind you with the man resting and the painting up in the front where the folks in the laundromat. Which
Yes.
I think is very interesting.
Oh, you know,
Talk about that.
I guess I was 19.
Yes, that painting's over 30, 40 years old.
Yes, because I did that when I was in the 70s, I think.
That's too big for me to go get them.
But it was the first laundromat that came up. And I said, oh, well, let me paint how I feel about this place. And I did, because they had, while you get your clothes, you could get a whole tub of clothes and dry for $10 cents. And it was so cheap compared to what it costs today. And I had to sit around and wait. So while I was waiting, I was sketching. And there you see, there's a lady, she's laundry racks. And this one is picking up the laundry, and that's one of the pulling the laundry out of the machine. And he's carrying something away. But these are the things I was trying to show people. But look, at 10 cents to dry clothes, you can't dry anything as long as But it was something I felt that you didn't want to forget how we have advanced.
Now, I'm going to make another observation. I can tell in looking at the work of James Brantley and also the work of Barkley Hendricks, I can tell how you influenced it. I've seen a lot of his work. I've seen a lot of Barkley Hendricks' work. But I'm going to tell you what the similarities are, what I see. And James, you can correct me. The building. It's not so much the building, but what's behind it. Because you have a tendency of having these cityscapes, but these tall.
Most of them are conceptual.
Correct. And you have these. I'm using the word building standing in the middle of the landscape.
It's surreal.
Correct. And then that's him. Mm-hmm. And look at the hands. So the hands look like the hands in the elongation of the arms remind you of Barkley. Am I right?
No,
Why? You say no?
because this is,
No,
this is Miss Bridges.
No, I know it's Mrs. Bridges' work, but
Yeah.
I'm saying that to say
Yeah.
this. I can see in this painting, in your work and in Barton's work,
Yeah.
how she influenced the two of
The
you.
thing is, if you've never met Ms. Bridges,
Go
and you
ahead.
saw that work for the first time,
Go
would
ahead.
you make that connection?
Yes.
Well, he has to know you.
Probably
Yes.
not.
No, I would.
Okay.
I would.
If I
because-
brought one of my paintings in here today and sit it in front of Ms. Bridges' paintings, you wouldn't see a similarity.
No, I would, because I know your work.
That's important. That's important to know that.
Yeah, because-
Yeah.
I know, I see, when we first
But
started.
you know what? I didn't see her work until I left school.
No, but what I'm saying to you is
I
this.
had an art
When I-
show in the school.
Yeah.
What I'm saying to you is based on how she draws,
Yes.
and the fact that she taught you and taught Barkley Henry, I can see.
That's in your mind.
No, ain't in my mind.
That's
Ain't in
it.
my mind, no.
It really is.
All I'm saying to you is that she influenced you.
You know what?
She
We're all
influenced-
related on some level.
Correct, she influenced
And
you.
you could probably look at a Picasso. I sat down and spoke with Miles Davis here in Philadelphia once, and he was sitting there and he looked at me and he said, "Hey man, I think you're an artist." I said, "Yeah, Miles," and he said, "Yeah, I mess around some too." And you know what was in my mind? I'm glad you don't put that horn down, because that wasn't his gift.
I
His
understand.
gift was this, and
Well, it works two ways.
we're similar but very different.
Oh, yes, we are.
We really are.
But would you agree, Mrs. Bridges, that,
It makes sense, yeah.
huh?
It makes sense that a teacher would influence, even though you have your own
Absolutely.
style
I'm
and.
16 and 17 years old.
No, so you
I'm
see,
now
not,
80. I'm 80.
No,
Come on, y'all. Come on, y'all. All right.
It's different if you would talk about something you just painted.
Correct.
Well, that's what he's
No,
talking
I'm
about.
not. No, I'm
I've already
not.
known
No,
you
I'm
for how
not.
long? How
No.
many years have I known you?
Long time.
What? 20, 30 years?
Yeah,
Oh, that's
so that's a
okay.
long time.
All right,
so
all right, all right.
I'm qualified.
All right. And that painting, no, and so am I. And that painting, how old?
This page, Mrs. Bridges.
Oh, yeah, that's some of my work in here. Show me the similarities.
She's gonna find something.
I have a catalog. Wow.
Yeah, okay.
How old is Mrs. Bridges? How old is this painting?
Well, that was, oh my goodness, it was done in the 80s.
1958.
1958.
Oh, wow.
Now, Miss Bridges, she's about to show you one of my
Go
paintings that I
ahead, she's gonna
did
show you. Go ahead.
many years ago.
There you go.
And that,
Wow.
oh, you see a similarity?
See?
The structure.
Have you ever seen how?
Thank you, Miss Bridges. I won.
No, you didn't. You only think you did.
That was a nice exercise.
Show them another one.
Okay.
There's no more like that, is there?
No, no, James.
That's a good point you're making. Wrong, but it's a good point.
See, and it is good for us to have this kind of exchange because
Of course.
I don't know how many folks in this room are collectors or want art or et cetera, but having knowledge is important. Is it right, Mrs. Bridges?
And also
Yeah,
dangerous.
very important.
Also dangerous?
Yes, it is. You already see? Anybody got a tissue?
I got one.
You got one down? Okay.
So having knowledge is important. Am I right, Mrs.
Oh,
Bridges?
yes, you don't know what you are influenced by, you have to go and look. And you know, but
Yeah.
nobody else knows.
It's important to know that, you know, if I was a singer and I heard Paul Rhodes, for instance, or Joe Wayne, they might influence me, but my
You don't
brand,
sing.
it's different, it's different.
So James, when you sit down
Yeah.
and look at the canvas,
Yeah.
what's the first thing you think about?
Well, first comes the the thought. And it comes before you walk into the studio. And then there's that blank canvas staring at you.
So
And then you make a mark.
so
See, my process might be a lot different than others.
so Mrs. Bridges earlier said that she paints what she sees. Am I right?
Yes.
Is that, and that is,
No, no.
why do you say
Because I
that?
say to you, when I said to you, my paintings are conceptual,
Go ahead.
that means they're in my head.
Okay.
I create them out of,
You don't create them out of your head.
yeah, I certainly do. I certainly do.
What?
You know why I
Where's
say
this
that? I'll tell you why I say that. It's because your optical nerve, your eye transmit an image to your brain. And in that process, it's in there. That brain is in there. It's an index.
You got a
It's how you
comment.
remember stuff.
But she got a comment. What's your comment to that?
I said, your brain is still working.
I hope so.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm saying, but when you see something,
Hmm.
you feel what you feel. I might not feel the same thing,
No, you don't.
but you have your way of seeing things.
Yeah, and my way of expressing it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, that's.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's one of the worst things you could say to an artist. Oh, I can see what your influences are.
I
And
mean,
so
we are,
therefore,
everybody's
blah, blah, blah.
I have a question.
Everyone.
I'm gonna put this back.
We're all influenced.
I have a question. My question in regards to this is about the process to completion.
Yeah.
Like, how do you know when something is
Never.
done?
Never. It's never done. If it's in my studio, there's always something to do. I work on about 3 or 4 paintings at a time. Right now, I'm working on about 5. I'm getting ready for a show at a museum. And so I'm working on this body of work. That's really important. And when I say conceptual, it's like a jazz musician and how they're creating abstract forms in sound. It happens in the moment. It's not a real deep thought process. It's what you feel. And that's how I work.
And Miss Bridges, for you, how do you know
You gotta
when,
speak up louder.
can I,
Oh, they didn't hear me? I'm sorry.
so this follow-up,
No, I'm not.
this follow-up question on process to completion.
I know what I want to do.
When do you feel that this is something that is ready to show? Or your work is something ready to show?
When I feel that something is ready to show, it's because I let it sit, and when it hits me, I know. And I know when to stop. Because you don't need to add any more to tell you. And also, you know what you like. And you know what you would want to say to people. And you know what you want to make them feel. And I think that, because if I go back to Paul Robeson, you will see that he knew what he wanted to make people feel. And they felt it. And also he knew about the musical instruments were not the kind that he wanted to bring the sound that he wanted you to hear. And they had to improvise those musical instruments until they could get the sound they wanted. And also, he could compare the music that he had heard and what he was coming up with and what he felt. And if you go and you see something that feels like you feel, then they've said it.
Any other questions?
I have a statement.
Go ahead. What question? Wait a minute. You hold your statement.
Yeah, I got a hold of it.
Just hold your statement.
Hi, Aunt Ruth. How are you doing? So my question is for you, knowing that you have a large family, you had several children, I wanted to ask if you ever found yourself in a creative block, if you will, and how did you overcome if you did? A creative block. Like, have you ever taken a break from painting and needed to come back to find yourself and get back into your practice?
If I was painting and I came to it and found myself.
Use the microphone.
So the question is, have you ever in a block, I would say, a creative block where you are unable to really realize what you would like to on your canvas? And if so,
Oh,
how did you pull yourself out of
well,
that creative block?
I have a sketch pad, and I sketch,
Mhm.
and I sketch, and I take a look at it sometimes, oh, that's not what I want to set, until I finally get there. And then I think about what colors would I want to go in there, and how do you express yourself. And all of this has to come to me, and I can't, it doesn't all come at one time. Sometimes I paint 6 months on one thing, but I do leave it out where I see it. And I live with it for a while. And finally it comes, I get it, okay?
Yeah.
Question?
I just want to say, Ms. Briggs, I really appreciate your talk. I have a question. I just want to thank you for saying how important it is for young people to go to galleries when they're younger. I'm from Delaware, but I went to school when I was younger in Philadelphia. And my first artistic experience was at the African American Museum. I clearly remember that. And I talk about that with a lot of artist friends, how important that was and how it indulged and it made an impression in me. So I just wanted to say thank you for that, because that really does make a difference.
Well, I'm glad to hear you say that, because unfortunately, I felt that, that they don't take enough time to spend enough money. And it's because of money they don't have, because there's plenty out here for them to put in the show that, and sometimes it's not the kind of show that I would like to see. It's unfortunate, but that's the way it goes. Money takes, you gotta have money to make something. And it's always like people coming and spending money to come to see it, buying the pamphlets or whatever they're selling. Because every time you go to see an art show, somebody has put out some money. Yes. I can't hear you.
Oh, you want to be next? Yeah.
Come on, let's hit the mic.
Come up and get the mic, come up.
Here we go. Here we go.
Come on, come on. Come on.
I'll give it so people in the back can hear. You mind if you can turn my back so folks can hear me in the back?
That's okay.
Okay, good. Hi, this is an awesome celebration
Come up here.
of your artistic side. But this is not a question, but I just wanted to make a statement, and I am not a public speaker, but I wanted to say how thankful we are for your teacher side of you. When my mother was in a nursing home, and you were teaching and you were letting folks know you don't have to be an artist to paint. So you were so convincing, and my mother painted this picture that
Her mother had a lot of talent.
it was, people were like, Mom did this, she really did this, and now that painting is not any, I come from a family of 8, and it's not any particular brother or sister, 4 boys and 4 girls. We kind of pass it around, because nobody's willing to give up Mom's painting and say it's any particular sibling, but it's so
Her mother
thankful.
had a lot of talent, and she was not, your mother was older.
Yeah, oh, she was at the nursing home.
Yes, but she had a lot of talent, and I could bring it out of her. And also, there is another man, and he was in his 70s. He came for the first time. He was from the South. They never taught art. Well, when I saw him paint, I couldn't believe what I was seeing. The man had so much talent, I couldn't believe it. And I taught him everything, the things I knew he didn't know. And he was so old, his daughter took him back south. And when he got there, he still continued to paint. He wrote me a letter, because he was sick at the time, and he said, Every time he paints, people buy everything he paints. And his paintings were wonderful. The man could paint. Oh, he had a lot of talent. That was wasted. But at least he got some use of it. And I was amazed when I saw his work. I couldn't believe, man, that man could paint like that. But he was but everybody, the people all just were buying his stuff as fast as they could get it. Or just how good it was. Okay.
Any other questions? Yes, sir.
Ms. Bridges, yeah, we spoke earlier,
Yes.
and Ms. Bridges taught me in from 65 to 68 in art class at Simon Gratz High School. And that was what she did was create an atmosphere for us because we were from North Philadelphia. She created an artist and creative atmosphere for us to develop. And I want to thank you. What I learned in your class and some of the elements that you talked about, you taught us. Do your sketchbook. And the music that you played, you exposed us to Miles Davis, and one of your favorites was Sketches of Spain. And we would try to fudge our sketchbooks, and you would know. We had to turn in our sketchbooks to you every week, and you would know if we were sketching every day and everywhere. And we would sketch real quick so that we could just turn in the sketchbook to you. So what you taught me and what I learned in your class helped me later on in life because I was in a car accident. And from that car accident, I took creative arts therapy. And that same atmosphere that you created then came, returned to me. Barkley came through there. His sister and I, we were in your class. And he came through to talk with you. And you would say, well, this is an artist. He's going somewhere. And you put him up as a role model to us. So thank you.
Oh, you're quite well. It makes me feel good to hear you say that. The only thing I can say is that some of the people sitting here might be artistic and don't even know it. I think I'd say talk enough.
Mrs. Bridges, Sherry has to make an announcement.
Yeah, this is from, I'm sorry. Everybody can hear me in the back. There's a problem with that. I invited Gerald Branch to this event for Ms. Bridges. Gerald is now in St. Augustine, Florida, but this is what he wrote back. Bessie was my art major teacher 3 years. I graduated with the class in 1968. You remember him? Okay.
Yeah, we were in the same class.
Okay, yeah. Bessie helped me organize my portfolio for admittance to the University of the Arts Scholarship. From 1968, graduated in 1972 with a BFA in art education, minor in painting and drawing. She, along with Marcus Foster, was the main reason I pursued teaching art in the Philadelphia School District for some 30 years. I was also principal of both J. Cook Middle School and George Whiteton Junior Middle School for another 8+ years. Each of my schools were arts-centered. I have also been a practicing and exhibiting artist as well. He gives me, his Instagram site is Gerald Branch Art. Bessie pushed me relentlessly to make full use of color away from simply being a draftsman comfortable with pencil drawing. She and I had a phone conversation a while ago to thank her for her influence on my artistic career. I am indebted to her for encouraging a seriously impoverished team to appreciate that there was a broader world available for discovery. He would have loved to attend, but as I said, he's lived in St. Augustine, Florida for 13 years.
Oh, wow.
Any other questions? I don't know if anybody's been next door, that there's a bunch of works, they are for sale. So if you're interested in buying something, come see me.
I will say this, you want to see, that was a woodblock print. And it's because in the summertime, when it was so hot we didn't have anything to do, we could have picnics in the street and play music with the records, and the people would dance. Well, I have a picture, a painting of we brought here, I did, of a man dancing in the street, and a lot of you will see some of you. I don't care. You still, wherever you come from, you still have some of that in you. And I used to see the Africans dance, and they would dance, and everything. And then I said, oh my, this guy was dancing in the street. I said, oh, I know where he got his stuff from. And I never forgot it. I had to do a block print of it. And that's how